This is Alicia's hair before, and I'm so excited to show you what we have in store today. Okay, so bring up the photo again.
Okay. This is the one I really liked.
Okay.
But I also really like, I think they're like the tone of that one. But I really like how when it's up, you see all the different layers, and then that's kind of like my natural hair, I feel like.
Okay.
So it could shine through a bit as well with the
Yeah,
highlights.
that is pretty much your natural color. So it's pretty close to your natural,
Yeah.
and then the blonde I feel complements that really well.
I think it's really pretty.
Yeah. Do you like how there's a good amount of do you feel like there's more blonde to the brown?
Yes.
Or do you feel like it's kind of 50-50?
I would say 60-40.
Yeah.
But I'd be okay if we went a little bit more blonde.
Okay.
I'd be okay with that.
Okay. And then for the front, just because there's no pictures of the front,
yes.
What style do you like? Because it will be highlights to the root, but it can still be softened. Do you want something that's a bit brighter around the face, but still natural? You don't want a bigger dramatic money piece or anything, right?
No, I'd be okay with would it be sticking with this color around the money piece, or would that be too much, do you think?
No, I think sticking with that would be good, because you can always, the tone of it is still definitely a brighter blonde, but it's just a bit softer. It's not a platinum or super ashy or anything.
Okay,
so cute. You can still make it keep it natural around the face, but still keep it brighter.
Cute. That sounds awesome.
So I'm gonna be mixing up her lightener for her highlights. She sits at about a 7 naturally. So I'm gonna go in with our Blonde Voyage lightener from Moroccan Oil. This is honestly my favorite lightener. It makes the hair feel better after any lightening service I've done. And I'm gonna go in and start with 10 vol. I always start with 10 vol. It honestly processes yes, a little slower, but you still get the same results. And especially with her hair being lighter naturally, you don't need to go in with anything above that. It would just lighten, I think, too quick, especially when doing a full highlight. So I always start with that. So I'm gonna mix up I usually start with 30 grams. So I'm gonna do 30 grams, and I do 1 to 2. Okay, and then I'll do 60 grams of the developer, and then mix that up. All right, let's go get started. So today what I'm going to show you is how we like to do our full foil at LCS. This has been a really popular application method that we've done basically since we opened almost 10 years ago. And it's just such a simple method, and I feel like it gives you so much coverage, and it's not really any extra work than a regular full foil of what they would teach you when you're in school. So the first thing that you're going to do is take your side sections from the top of the head to behind the ear and just section those off on both sides. Don't worry about a top section just yet. We're going to focus just on the back. So after you section the hair, you're going to start foiling. It doesn't matter what side you choose to start on, but you're going to choose a side. I started on, this is the right side, and I started doing very fine baby lights, and they're weaved baby lights. What this is going to do is whenever they wear their hair up or anything, they move their hair, it's going to have all the coverage. You're not going to have any dark spots. You won't see any highlight lines or anything when they move their hair. So this is the perfect method for that. Another reason I love this method so much is because when you think about how people wear their hair down, the hair is going to fall kind of forward when they pull it all to the front. So all of that blonde and all of the highlighting you're doing is going to it's going to show, and they're going to feel a lot lighter. Whereas if you take it just a regular horizontal and it sort of lays back on the back of the head, I feel like it doesn't blend as nicely. I feel like you can see more dark spots, especially around the hairline, because you're not doing all of that fine detailing. And it's really all of the fine detailing that does make such a difference. So once you can no longer fit the hair in a foil going on a diagonal back, you're going to switch to the other side. I typically like to do around anywhere from 4 to 6 weaves per side when I'm starting off on the hairline, just to make sure that it all is really blended and nice. Once you switch to the other side, you're just going to do the exact same thing, mimic what you did on the other side until you can no longer foil. So this is what it's going to start to look like once you've reached the end of doing your hairline foils. You should have an even amount of foils on each side, and it's going to look like you have a triangle section sort of forming in the middle. That's sort of exactly what you're looking for. Once you get to the point where you can no longer fit any foils on the sides, this is when you're going to start foiling the middle. When you start foiling the middle like this, you're honestly just going to continue all the way up until you literally can't fit in another foil. I do find this method to be a quicker foiling method. I know there's technically 3 sections in the back, but honestly, you get such a clear section when you're doing it this way, and being able to foil each of the 3 sections until you literally just can't fit the hair in the foil, I find personally that it just goes by so much quicker. I can typically do a full set of foils like this in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if they have a lot of hair, which I feel like is pretty. I feel like it's pretty average. So I feel like you're not really adding on much more time when you're doing a full foil like in this method. Okay, so we've been foiling the back of the head now. You can see how far you get up once you start doing the middle. You can pretty much get into the center of the head there. So you get a lot of coverage. So that's what it's going to start to look like with when you have your 3 sections. Also, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but I fold my foils like underneath so I have like that little lip. Does anyone else do that? Let me know in the comments. I know a lot of people kind of do it the other way. I'm just really interested to know how you guys fold your foils when you're doing highlights. Okay, so now that I can no longer go up the center, we're going to switch back and we're going to do the exact same thing on each side until we can no longer foil, and then move back to the middle. And then that's when you are going to start to connect everything and you'll see sort of all of your sectioning kind of coming together. Also, how are we feeling about the consultation part in these videos? Do you guys find them helpful? Do you want to see more? Do you want a video on just consultations? I know consultations can be overwhelming, especially when you're first starting out. So if there's anything that you guys want to know or would like to see specifically, you can just let me know in the comments below. Okay, so when you continue up the back, once you get to the top of the crown, that's when you're going to make your top mohawk section, just like you see here. And then you're just going to clip that off, and then you're going to just start working on your sides. When I start the sides, I'm going to take a small horizontal section just above the ear, and that's going to connect my foils from the side hairline at the back. When I start my side sections, I only do about 1 to 2 very small weaves horizontally like this. I like to do a lot of hairline detailing in the front, so I typically like to just keep them vertical for the most part. I just like to connect that very bottom foil with the back. If you are more comfortable foiling horizontally, you can. Just a tip, you do need to make sure if you want to keep the blonde like really bright, you just have to make sure you are grabbing the right amount of hair on the front hairline when you are going up horizontal so you don't have any dark spots. And if you want them to be really blonde, it is a good way to do it. You can do them really close together, and it does look really nicely. And then you can always finish off with like a Scandinavian hairline detail, and that will just sort of help blend the front together if they want to feel really bright. That's just a little tip that I wanted to share. Maybe I can do that in another video. I love doing the Scandi hairline. I've been doing it for a long time now on my clients, and I feel like it does give a really good finish to the blonde, I feel like, and it does grow out really nice as well. So let me know if you want me to make a video on that. Okay, so as I'm taking my vertical section at the front, I want to make sure that I'm going all the way from the bottom of the ear to the top corner where the mohawk section starts. Doing this will be easier because when you're foiling the front and they have baby hairs or anything, you don't want to miss any of those little hairs because it will actually create a dark patch right at the front of their hairline, and that just it doesn't look nice, and it's really hard to blend out, and it's definitely noticeable, especially if you're going for a brighter blonde. Now, every hairline is different, obviously, at the front. So you want to make sure that like you're able to fit the hair in the foil. If the hairline is sort of wide or there's a lot of baby hairs, you might have to look more into creating little subsections to get all of those little hairs, and that's where the detailing comes in. And then you usually just have to do a few of those, and then you can kind of continue on with your regular sections. Okay, so now we are finally on to the last part of foiling. This is my favorite part. I love doing the front hairline. It just looks so good when it's done. Now, remember in our consultation, we did say we wanted to keep it bright. We don't want a big bunny piece or anything, but we do want to feel pretty blonde. So what I'm going to do, and I do this for typically everybody, I'm taking a baby fine highlight in the front, and I'm just going to put that right in the foil. I'm not weaving it or anything. What I like to go by is if they don't want a big money piece, but they do want to feel a little bright, I will do 2 of these baby lights back to back, and then the rest will be weaves. This will give it a really nice bright front that you can blend out, but it's not going to feel too bold. It's going to still feel really, really soft. Okay, and this next part is pretty important. So after you're done doing your foils for your face frame, whether that is, it doesn't matter if it's 1 foil, 2 foils, 6 foils, whatever it is, after you do whatever type of money piece you're doing, you want to make sure that you are taking the finest sections and you're weaving all of them. And I'm going to say I probably do about 6 to 10 like micro weaves after my money pieces. Have you ever noticed when you're foiling whether you do a money piece that's 2 foils or 3, or you do a bigger one, and then you go in and you're like trying to make it blended and you do a really small slice after, but you're still getting maybe like it looks like a brown chunk right after the money piece. If anyone has experienced that, it's because doing a slice after you do any sort of money piece when you're doing back-to-back foils like that, it's going to create a contrast, and it's always going to look like a chunk no matter how fine you do the slice. So that's where your microweaves come in, and that's what's going to blend out your money piece back into your foiling, your regular highlights. So why I like to do 6 to 10 is because then I'm making sure I'm getting a good blend from the front hairline back, and then you can slowly transition back into slices if that's what you were doing. We do have a face frame video coming. I feel like there's a lot of information and detail that goes into a money piece appointment or face frame. And so I'll put that all into one video for you guys. So if you're watching this and you have anything that you want me to specifically go over in that video, just comment below and I'll be sure to do my best to go over everything. So I just continued with my weaves, did about 6 to 10, and then I just transitioned back into slices. And as you can see, my front section, I just went all the way back and continued and connected it to the back mohawk section where everything just sort of falls back. And that's sort of what you want to see. Time to rinse her foils. This is the most satisfying part. So I probably let her sit, I want to say maybe like 20 minutes maybe, and then I checked the back. I always check the back. That's why I like to start at the back actually, because if they're processing really fast, you can rinse the back first and still let the front process. So yeah, I probably let her sit for about 20 minutes until I started rinsing the back. She's so light naturally, so she really didn't have to sit for that long. But you can see even using just the 10 volume how light she's got. Her hair felt really good as well. I know it's always a little scary when you see it kind of like fresh out of the foil, not like pulled through or brushed. Her hair felt really, really good. She had absolutely no breakage. For Alicia's toner, I used 1001 in Hilite with 6 Vol, and I let that just sit for a couple minutes. I really didn't need to change the tone too much. To be honest, at this point, I honestly just used it just for a little bit of the toning aspect, mainly just to sort of soften out her hair again and to start the process of closing the hair cuticle after it has just been lifted. Then I went in with one of my favorite shampoos. It was the Moroccan Oil Hydrating Shampoo. I love it so much, even for like finer, thinner hair. It really is such a great product, especially in the winter. So I did 2 shampoos of that just to make sure we got the hair nice and clean, towel dry, and then go in with our favorite product at the salon, the Redken Acidic Bonding Mask. We use this for every single client. It's included in their package service when they come into the salon. To prep the hair before I blow dried, I used the Moroccan Oil All-in-One Leave-In. Then I went in with the Frizz Shield. Love this product, it's so good. Then I went in with the hydrating lotion. You can see as I pull her hair up how blended those highlights are, and that's exactly why I love this method. So we're gonna comb all those products through to distribute them as evenly as possible. Fun fact, you can use the Moroccan Oil Hydrating Lotion dry. I use it on my hair every single day. Then I'm just gonna rough dry the hair before I go in with my round brush and blow dry the front. I always blow dry the front first so they can see the color. That way if there's any correcting that you have to do, you're not blow drying the full head. After I am done blow drying the bangs, I flip them back, give them some shape, position them where I want them, and then show them the end result. And it looks so good on her. I just love it. The tone just matches her so well. She was a little nervous getting her hair done because it had been a hot minute, but she loved it. For styling, I like to go in with my 1.5-inch extra long Bioionic curling iron. I use this on pretty much all my clients. I just love the kind of curl it gives. I use a curling iron on my own hair also. I just like the big soft waves. I tend to take bigger sections just because I like how big and effortless the waves look. And here is the finished result of all these foils. I hope you guys loved this tutorial. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. If you have any questions about how we did this or if you missed anything, I'd be happy to chat. Comment below and don't forget to subscribe.